You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Welcome back, everybody, and chat. Two separate entities. I, of course, am Mark IR Chibikawaii, and in the booth with me, we have the Counterbob, and we got a nice little matchup. Counterbob, what you want to give a rundown? Little name dropping.
We got two new decks that we haven't seen yet today, but two decks that we've seen plenty of times over the course of Eternal. Good old Felon Control and aReNGee mid. BassoonBuffoon, great name.
BassoonBuffoon
playing Felon Control. Not too much out of the ordinary. Some Felon Control lists are playing Suffocate, some aren't. Some are more sabotages. He's only on 2, but everything is pretty standard. We see Extract, which has become pretty much a staple in most of these decks. Everything else, it's Felon Control to a T. And then xander playing aReNGee mid. Again, we've seen this deck the last couple of weeks. Unseen Commando from the new set is the latest addition. Everything else we've seen for months now. Both decks pretty strong. aReNGee's mid-range top-aided last week. Not piloted by xander, but lists pretty sure 2T was the same list top-aided. So we know the list works. So let's see how it pans out against Felon Control.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited because I haven't played Felon Control or aReNGee since the new set has come out. So I'm definitely curious. So I haven't been able to play this matchup is basically what I'm saying. So I'm curious to see what it is. Unseen Commando though, man, that card is quite good.
Yeah, I think people saw it and were like, oh, it's gonna be good. But then when people started playing with it, and like, oh, okay, this card's bonkers. It's real good.
Yeah, we do see a Crest of Vengeance coming out from xander on turn 1 there, after Bassoon playing, Seed of Cunning depleted. Eileen's favor, non-depleted. Eileen's favor coming out for Bassoon, passing the turn back. We're going to see a Sabotage fired off by xander. Xander just popping the Aegis thanks to that Eileen's favor, and we're back to Buffoon. Buffoon, Sabotage, gonna get probably annihilated, right? Yeah,
it makes no sense. His hand just has the stewards, and he wants to get that down pretty clear. And unfortunately for xander, nothing too aggressive. He's just gonna play this aReNGee Instigator, which is just gonna die to the plethora of removal that Buffoon has.
Yeah, and so all right, so there's the Extract coming out of Buffoon. I'm going to probably follow up with that Shadow Sigil and keeping the Annihilate on top thanks to that Scout from the Extract, passing it back to xander. Xander going to draw a Valkyrie Enforcer this turn, going to play one of the ones that he already had in hand, play a Justice Sigil, and now left with just the 2 Vara's favor and the second Valkyrie Enforcer in hand for xander. Passing back over to Buffoon. Buffoon is going to fire off that Suffocate. That Valkyrie Enforcer no longer a thing. Gonna play Steward of the Past, getting some pressure with they had Annihilate and Vara's favor still in hand.
Yeah, the couple turns prior when he played the Extract, he had choices to either play that or the Suffocate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's valuable because you could have played Suffocate and then follow up for Vara's favor to use your power, to use it all up in the same turn. But in this sort of matchup, as the Felon, you want to keep your Vara's favor so you can pop things like Runehammer, which can be semi-hard to deal with at times.
Makes a lot of sense. Xander going to go ahead and attack in with the Valkyrie Enforcer, dropping Buffoon down to 25 and follows that up with a Tinker Overseer. Passes back to Buffoon. Buffoon then attacks in with that Steward of the Past, passes it back to xander. Xander sitting at 18, draws a Vanquish for the turn, gets in for 5, putting Buffoon down to 20. And then we just see a Vara's favor fired off from xander. Getting that Shadow Sigil, going to play it, and I imagine we're going to see it pass back to Buffoon.
Yeah, he's holding on to that Annihilate. He's not in any immediate danger to worry about it too much. He could be saving it for something like a Impending Doom.
Love this play.
Or perhaps waiting for a Bloodletter to come down on it.
Yeah, and we did see the Black Sky Harbinger drawn for Buffoon that turn. And Buffoon using the Vara's favor on the Tinker Overseer, getting that 1 point of damage, and then following up with the Harbinger to clear out that Overseer, actually getting some extra value from those Vara favors off for Buffoon. And now it's trained to Pound Town.
Yeah, the draw for Xander was not very good this game.
No. Not in the least.
You need to be aggressive, and he just wasn't aggressive enough. Just not going to do it, and Buffoon's cards matched up real well against it. Although the Bloodletter may help him stay in this game for a couple more turns.
Yeah, this Vanquish not doing a ton here. Really only able to hit those Varas and the Champion of Cunning. And there's that Valkyrie Enforcer. Valkyrie Enforcer going to get the Bloodletter put on it. But of course, that Annihilate's just been sitting in Buffoon's hand. Buffoon goes, 2 for 1. And gets it, which then Xander concedes to.
I really like the way that Buffoon played that game. He did not act like his name says. He held on to that Annihilate. Most players might just fire it off, but not under any duress, waiting for that 2 for 1. And very smart play. Very, very good.
Yeah,
knows how to play the Felon deck pretty well, it looks like.
I'm gonna call Buffoon BB from now on. I think BB. Hey BB. That works for me. Okay, I'm glad we had established that. But no, I definitely do agree. Played the Felon very, very good. Made some decisions that were interesting to me, like much like you said, the Extract versus the Suffocate turn, and realistically, I feel like Felon control is pretty favored in this. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
It can go back.
You said you play a lot of Felon control. Yeah. What?
It can go back and forth. It all depends on how aggressive the Argentport can come out. If they can get a Tavrod down so if you're aggressive enough and you force out your opponent's stuff like Feeding Time and Death Strikes, and then you drop a Tavrod and they just don't have an answer to it, it can be really hard for them. But on the other side with Felon, you removal, you have all this removal and stuff, and draw power, kill the early drops, and then play stuff like Harbinger and Champion Cunning. And Cunning's pretty hard to deal with for Argentport. Also, they have to blow a couple spells to get rid of the Aegis, or they can block it with Impending Doom. And when you're blocking with Impending Doom, it's not a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, and Vara is just a hard card for Argentport to kind of deal with. Granted, Argentport, Xander's version of Argentport playing the full set of Impending Dooms with a lot of flyers. Of flyers, and especially with the Impending Dooms are the things that stand out the most.
And looking at Xander's sideboard, there's more flyers. There's 2 Mokto, which I do think can be good in this deck. From the side, it can be awkward. You do see your opponent playing Steward of the Pass, but
it's still a 5/5 flyer for 5. Yep. It seems fine. Like worst case scenario, right? It's able to block Champion of Cunning, right?
And I definitely think the protects come in as well. Felon's just removal all the board. Can also protect you against things like Witch.
Yes, which would be quite nice.
Yeah, we could even see a Dark Return to come in.
Yeah, the 4 main deck Sabotage is excellent too. Unfortunately, just didn't get to. We saw one Sabotage that game, or did we not see any?
I believe it was one that popped in Aegis.
Yes. All right, so it looks like BB and Xander are in game now. I think mulligans have been resolved.
I'm not sure. And as far as the Felon control list sideboard, you could see just another Death Strike just because you are dealing with Tavrod, and it's a must-answer card. So just having another answer to it is good.
Unseal, maybe, if you care about your units, but
I think it's best left in this match in the side.
Permafrost seemed great. I mean, minus Tavrod, it hits everything else. And stops all the weapons.
It can be good. The other thing that can be awkward with Permafrost, if it's your only answer in hand and they have Unseen Commando and you play it on the Commando just to, you don't want to be hit by it, then they play something that can be pumped by Commando. It's like, oh crap, it's still a buffer that maybe you have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I was thinking of that over Suffocate. Suffocate seems like medium. But no, it's actually Suffocate's pretty good. So I'm just anyway. Players a bit underway. Just quick recap: Buffoon played a depleted banner turn 1, and then a Seat of Cunning non-depleted on turn 2, along with the Sabotage, getting the Protect out of Xander's hand. Xander has just been playing a couple power, was able to get the Argenport Instigator down on turn 2, which was pretty big. And then here, I believe, and I was playing a Sabotage against Buffoon. Ooh, several good hits. I'm looking at that Wisdom. I'm looking at the Rain of Frogs. I'm looking at the Death Strike, too.
Yeah, I mean, he brought the Rain of Frogs in from the side. The thing is, right now your hand is Enforcer and a bunch of power, so Rain of Frogs ain't going to hit much, especially when you play out the Enforcer now.
Very... Okay. No, I can definitely get behind this. So we see the Enforcer come down for Xander and silence the Argenport Instigator. It might seem a little bit weird, but given the lack of kind of small tradable creatures that Buffoon plays, the Argenport Instigator is actually more of a liability towards Xander. So I can completely get behind silencing the Instigator.
Definitely. I mean, you'll probably see the Enforcer get killed first, so you take a point of damage. Then you'll see the Instigator get killed, so you take 2. Might as well just get rid of it. You know, there's not much you can do otherwise. You could just skip, but I think this it seems like a slight play, but it's pretty smart.
Yeah. No, this is great. Passing back to Buffoon. Buffoon are going to be able to suffocate the Enforcer out of the sky here. Probably follow up with another Shadow Sigil. Yep, and the Steward of the Past comes into play. Xander's going to be able to answer that with the Annihilate, and I think that's one of the better Annihilate targets, especially if the Mockdozer did come in, which is leaving Buffoon with Death Strike, Feeding Time, and Champion of Cunning in hand. Ooh, Xander drawing a Tavrod for the turn, getting in for 3. Buffoon sitting at 13. Xander sitting at 25. Xander decides not to play the Tavrod.
I think when he sabotaged, I think he saw the Death Strike.
Yep.
So he doesn't want to play. He wants to have a safe.
Wow. That's a Sabotage being drawn for Xander. Gonna fire it off. Gonna be able to get rid of that Death Strike. Unfortunately, though, then going to see the Feeding Time in hand.
So I have to wait another turn. Hopefully draw a Protect or another Sabotage.
Yeah, so I do like leaving the Tavrod in hand for Xander while doing this. However, this Champion of Cunning is gonna get pretty big.
Yeah, not a lot of people play it without the protection, but when your opponent is on 1 card and you have removal and such in hand, just play it out there, and it's just gonna, especially if it has the shadow buff, it's just gonna swing. They must answer it.
Yeah, so because Xander's got 1 more turn.
Yep.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, Lightning Strike or Lightning Storm. Okay, so we see the Vara's Favor into Lightning Storm from Buffoon. That's going to be able to clear the Argenport Instigator. Ooh, that's a Justice Sigil off the top. That's going to be game.
Yep, things just did not line up for Xander here. Both games did not come off swinging, and the Feln deck, it has answers for most things, and it drew all the good ones.
It certainly did. So Buffoon taking down the match 2-0. Good job, BB. Good job.
Yes. Might need a name change.
All right. So I imagine that the booth is checking on some backup matches. So we'll have word there in just a second. But I mean, like, we're kind of building on what we were talking about during the sideboard. Were you surprised at all by that outcome?
Not particularly. A lot of it, I think the decks are closer than what that match seems, although I may lean in the Feln control favor. Just so many answers, and a couple hard things for Argenport to deal with. A lot of it, it's very draw dependent. Sometimes Argenport can just have a 2-drop followed by like you go Instigator into the Unseen Commando, into Doom, into Tavrod. And if they don't have an answer for, all of them, you're hitting in, and they're only playing, 1 card a turn, and you're hitting for 5. So if it goes that way, it's definitely Argenport favor. If it goes slower way, it's Feln control. It's, the slower and drawn out the game can go, of course, control's going to have the bigger and better outcome.
Yeah. All right. So this is yeah, I definitely agree with I like everything that you said. I do wonder though if xander did bring in the Noctos. Like that's such an interesting choice whether you bring when your opponent is playing Forest due to the pass main.
Yeah, it is, but when they're just a removal pile, you just need threats at that point, I think.
No, that's fair.
And if they don't have the steward, especially when you have stuff like Annihilate to answer it, the threat of it coming back for free is always great.
Yes. But yeah, all right. Well, congratulations again to both Buffoon and Xander. And you wanna go back to talking about Legion midrange? You got another topic you want to talk about? Actually, I lied. I have a topic I would like to talk about.
What is your topic?
You know what that topic is? It's the ETS Team League. All right.
Oh, tell me more.
So listen here. All right. We're in season 2 of the ETS Team League, which is a competitive league in which 16 teams are playing off, leading up to a cut to the top 4 for a single elimination playoff. It seems pretty cool so far. It's the the biggest teams in Eternal, such as O&D, Seek Power Gaming, Eternal Titans, Eternal Warcry, and along with a handful of those young up and start newcomers, they're seeking all to prove themselves. It's a pretty competitive battleground, is what we're trying to say there, right? Teams will be broadcasting from their point of view on Sundays, so make sure you tune in. There's going to be lots of different streams. You're going to have plenty of different things to watch and different player styles, personalities. It's going to be good. Us over here at aReNGee Eternal, we're gonna be sharing links to all of the different streams in the tournament chat in the Eternal Discord. We'll occasionally be broadcasting from the point of views on other streams if they cannot. And the team Magical Christmas Band with Bradykin, Loco Pojo, Lights Out Ace, and X Kirby and Rakenner will be broadcasting their point of view from the actual aReNGee channel. 2 groups of 8 played out in Rabin style is the format of the tournament. So it's pretty good. It's definitely worth watching. It's just another full day of high level competitive play, Eternal style. If you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Counterbob?
Oh yeah, and it's a great way to get in the minds of the players. You can listen into their communication, see their thought process. Perhaps last game we were seeing the film control player hold on to that Annihilate. You can hear his thought process along with his teammates go into it. And right now, after 2 weeks, we have 4 teams at 2-0. That's SPG Revenge, I Like Big Decks, ET Phone, and SPG Destiny. So we'll see if they can continue their win streaks. It is still early, so teams still have a lot of time to catch up and narrow the standing margin and prove they are the better team. It's definitely a fun thing to watch. Games go long as people, a lot of our games are pretty quick. It's one person thinking, they just make their play. This, you have 3 people talking and trying to find every single line. But it's a great way to learn all the little tidbits that you may not know. You may not know how this card interacts. You watch this and you learn something new. So next time you're in ladder, instead of being gold 1, you're now diamond 1.
Yeah, or Masters 3000, because that sounds way better than Masters 1.
Yeah,
3,000 versions better. Actually, I'm not. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I think in the high hundreds right now, so I can't even say that. I need to tank my rank.
Yeah, you gotta play all the janky decks. Just close your eyes, pick random legendary, build a deck around it.
That's pretty much what the last 3 weeks of the month always are for me. Anyway, we have a backup match. We've got Elunex versus SecondBlue. We saw SecondBlue a little earlier. SecondBlue, of course, on that Time Justice Primal Shadow Dark Combre list, and Elunex is on looks like some Xenon mid-range fun stuff. We're gonna go ahead and get the players restarted here, and it should be a pretty good match. Okay, all right. So looks like Yeah, all right. So it's on Second Blue's turn. Second Blue has this World Bearer Behemoth. Going to get two, or excuse me, just one that's going to be the first attack from this World Bearer Behemoth. They're going to drop Elunex down to 20. Second Blue sitting at 24 life. Unfortunately, we do not have a hand cam for Second Blue. Second Blue going to go ahead and play a crest here. Going to scout, keeping the card on top. Not entirely sure what it is, but if you're sitting in Elunex's spot, you're never happy to see somebody scout something to the top. Second Blue going to play Steward of the Past and then ship the turn. At which, oh, wow. All right, Elunex sitting in play with a Xenon Obelisk in play, plays a Predatory Carnosaur, is able to play and then immediately fight the World Bearer Behemoth. So that's taking that down. Second Blue going to fire off a Slay here, take out that Predatory Carnosaur. Steward of the Past going to silence it, which is actually relevant given the two Dark Returns in Elunex's hand.
Yeah, it's very big. Yeah, at first I saw the Carnosaur in hand, like, oh, that's not going to be able to take down the Behemoth. I didn't realize he had a Obelisk. But still playing an 8/8 is going to stop Second Blue at the moment, although not having it killer does kind of sting a bit. And even at this point, a 3/5 is going to take on this 9/9, force a block.
Exactly.
I think he's offering this trade because he does have a Dark Return to just make it a 10/10. So, and he can give a killer again and make it not a 10/10. Oh yeah, it's gonna be giant. It's gonna be a giant killer. Dinosaur.
Interesting. He did not do that last turn to bring it, because he could have drawn it and played it. So he's leaving it in the yard. Draws a Blustering Wasp before the turn. Elunex goes in and plays that. And thanks to the 9 power that Elunex has, the Obelisk is making all of his units +2/+2. So that is a 3/5 Blistering Wasp. On Second Blue's turn, they played a Great Parliament. Great Parliament sitting there making 2 4/4s. However, we are going to see a World Bearer off the top for Elunex, immediately followed by the Xenon Initiation on the World Bearer. This World Bearer is going to easily eat one of these birds, as well as pull a power from the deck right away. There we go. Sigil coming out. Second Blue looks like they might have some sort of answer. They do. It is a Desert Marshal. This Desert Marshal is going to come in and silence. What do you think? Oh, well, yeah. Goes ahead and silences the World Bearer Behemoth, which is perfectly fine because World Bearer Behemoth is still sitting as a giant 9/10. Second Xenon Initiation coming out, trying to target the Blistering Wasp. Banish is going to come out of hand from Second Blue to go ahead and take care of that little shenanigans.
Yeah, the Marshal on the Behemoth, it takes off the killer, takes off the Overwhelm, and takes off the effect of getting anything out of your deck as well.
Yes.
Death Strike's gonna be nice here.
A 9/10 is probably fine, right?
Oh yeah, it's still good. It's just like when Tavrod doesn't have anything it hits, it's still a 5/7 endurance. So, you know, things that are giant are still, if they don't do anything, if they're vanilla, they still hit hard. Your life still matters.
Yeah, and Elunex able to Dark Return back the Blistering Wasp while still holding up Death Strike. So this is going to be, well, we'll see. So Elunex has to be a little careful, because since there is 8 power in the air and Elunex being only at 9 life, can't really get super aggressive. Oh, wow. And Elunex holding on to this Death Strike, going to get rewarded here, being able to take care of this Knight Chancellor Seraph. But, oh, my goodness, a Timekeeper is played off of Seraph's activation. Second Blue having 8 time influence, making this Timekeeper a 16/16.
I think I still take out the Seraph. So you can still block it with the Wasp, but you also want to block the Flyer. So maybe there's more of the better option to get rid of that. Your opponent's down at 7.
Well, but Elunex is going to drop down to 8 here thanks to this Auric Interrogator that's in play. It's going to be drawing him a card at the end of his turn. However, not exactly where they want to be, given that it's going to also do a point of damage to them.
Yeah, and if Blue had drawn any removal for the Wasp, he's just dead on board.
Yes. Blue is able to activate Knight Chancellor Seraph, which then gets a Copperhall Bailiff, shrinking all of Elunex's team. Elunex, though, for his turn, draws a Sandstorm Titan. That gives them another level of protection here. We have to see. World Bearer Behemoth is swinging in. It looks like the Copperhall Bailiff is just going to eat that. And yeah, we're going to see the Sandstorm Titan come down from Elunex. I actually kind of like holding on to the Vara's favor and then like maybe shooting it at his face at some point, especially since you have both Blistering Wasp and Sandstorm Titan now.
Yeah, everything's giant. He's creating units off Sarath. You might be able to force some blocks and get him down to 1, or he thinks he's safe, might be able to survive, and then you just have a Favor. Because right now, Favor's not going to do much.
Well, Vara's choice off the top for last turn is going to be able to answer this Sarath pretty...
That's an interesting choice.
All right, so Vara's choice went after the Owl, at which point SecondBlue was able to fire off a Protect to give it Aegis. Now is just attacking with everything. Obelisk was the draw for the turn, so his entire field is getting +4/+4. So I'm guessing by getting rid of the Owl, it just would have been lethal. Instead, SecondBlue has to keep all of his blocks, and ends up having to block with all of his creatures, losing his board, left with just a Sarath in play, and drops down to 1 thanks to that Vara's Favor.
Yeah, the Auric Interrogator drawing cards has just been so important for Elunex here in this match.
Wow, and SecondBlue takes it, or SecondBlue ends up picking up his cards. Elunex takes it down, and I believe that is 2-1 for Elunex now.
It looked very strong. Shows the power of an Obelisk, making your already powerful creatures that much better.
Yeah, you know, when you get +4/+4 on everything, it's reasonable.
Yeah, play a 3-cost unit, making him giant, and also it draws you cards, so pretty good.
Yes.
I'll take it.
All right, so yeah, we did confirm it was 2-1 for Elunex. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else? Anything you can say about the matchup?
No, Xenon. We saw it win last week. I don't think it was on that many people's radars. I think people knew it was a deck, but the Dusk Road only brought Behemoth to it, and people just were playing other things. And it's still powerful. It still has very strong cards. They all work very well together, and can be very disruptive. You have Vara's Choice, opportunity to play Sabotage. You have all the removal. It's definitely a deck to keep your eye on, and try it out if you haven't played it.
Yeah, so I believe. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So that is going to be the last match that we're covering. The round is almost done. Only a few matches left. So be sure, remember, check out the team series going on tomorrow. Already in the season 2. Get caught up. It's going to be worth your time. I quasi promise. And yeah, that's gonna be it for us for this round. We will be back pretty shortly for round 6.